Hi there, and welcome to a beautiful morning in Yokohama, Japan. Japan is one of my favorite places on earth just for walking around, especially in cities. So I rarely choose airport hotels when I stay here. But I also wanted to be close to Tokyo's Haneda Airport. Thanks to this bus, Haneda is actually a quicker ride from most of Yokohama, a city just to the south of Tokyo, than it is from the majority of Tokyo itself. It really is just a nice little stopover with a beautiful waterfront if you're ever in need of a bit of a new transit scenery in the area. We're now heading to Terminal 1, where StarFlyer has its small base operating from. So, as much as I rave about how organized and easy to navigate Japan is, take note when you're at the airports looking for domestic airlines, you'll quite often see abbreviations like this instead of logos or full names. So today, we're looking for SFJ. Maybe the real signs are just down here. Loads of ANA wide-bodies gearing up in the distance for the morning rush. Before we head inside, let me welcome any of you that may be new to the channel. My name is Kevin, and I am the Flip-Flop Traveler. I'm here to give you honest content about flights, hotels, and trains. This video is self-funded, and the exact fare that I paid is in the description. StarFlyer had no prior knowledge that I'd be filming today, and everything in this video is my personal opinion, based on my own unique experience. So let's go get checked in and start this journey. So as I've mentioned previously a couple of times, maybe like 8 times, it's very common just to arrive at Japanese airports and buy your ticket an hour or so before the flight. But this doesn't apply to StarFlyer quite as much. You see, they're a really small airline, so they don't have the scale of operation that JAL and ANA have to give you confidence that there will actually be seats available for you. Not to mention, the very specific fare that I bought for this flight sells out very early. StarFlyer offers up to 10 different fare classes per flight, and similar to the competitors, you just choose the one that best suits your needs. The one that I chose though is in the first column, and it's only for non-Japanese nationals. When I bought my ticket, I remember my fare of 9,600 yen was around 50% less than the next lowest fare. The only downside to this fare is that you need to physically check in at the counter to get your boarding pass, since they need to verify your nationality. StarFlyer considers themselves a hybrid airline, a mix of low-cost carrier fares and elevated experiences. One low-cost area I noticed with them is their no-nonsense stance on carry-ons. I asked if I could carry my 11-kilo bag on, and I got a quick but polite no. So as we have a look around the terminal and have a check of the Power Lounge, which I access with Priority Pass, I'll just give you a super brief history of StarFlyer, since there really isn't much to say. Have you ever found what you thought was like the absolutely perfect t-shirt or pair of socks? It was a great price, fit exactly how you wanted it to fit, and perhaps had a limited amount of places where you could wear it, but you loved the style of it. That's kind of how I look at StarFlyer. They're tiny, and they're not going to be of much use if you're flying around the world, or to much of Japan frankly, but if they fit your specific needs, you may end up loving them. They were founded in 2002 as Kobe Airlines, perhaps for all of those fancy cows, but soon after launching their first flights, they became StarFlyer. Despite the fact that they're 22 years old, they still only have 11 aircraft, and only fly to 6 domestic and 1 regular international destination. It feels weird to think of an airline in this day and age that is just content. Content to be a small, successful business that isn't obsessively focused on growth, cheapening the experience, and toppling the competition. But I digress. They were founded jointly by a former Japan Airlines technician and an EVA executive, and oddly enough, only really hit their stride once they started code-sharing with ANA on some routes. This led to ANA having a current 18% stake in the airline's largest shareholder. And well, that's it. That SAS A320 is one aircraft that I've been chasing for ages. One of the most beautiful in existence, I think. Very happy to have it booked for next year. When you see one of StarFlyer's 11 aircraft, you'll notice that they didn't really get the memo when all airlines started introducing Euro white liveries some years ago. They love their black, which continues inside the cabin, and I for one thinks it all looks pretty sharp. It was a little bit too early for me to have a full bento, so I just went with a quick and tasty katsu sando. Oh, I don't think I even mentioned that we're going to Fukuoka, the largest city on Kyushu Islands, the southernmost of the large Japanese islands. We had a scheduled departure time of 10:20, with a precise boarding time of 10:02, which began right on time. So, we all know what happens if you click like on this video and subscribe to the channel. But do you know what happens if you don't? You may never see me or my videos again. So if you enjoy this style of content, be sure to click all the buttons, all the good ones. If you're interested in a peek in the inner workings of the channel, or just need some travel advice, be sure to check out my Patreon as well, linked in the description. Whatever you do, thanks very much for being here right now. As we head down the jet bridge, let's take a look at today's flight stats. Stepping on board, the cabin is looking pretty slick indeed. All StarFlyer cabins are laid out in a single economy cabin in a 3x3 layout. You'll notice that there's significantly more room on offer than a typical low-cost carrier though. More than just about all full-service carriers in fact. All seats on board are advertised to have 34 inches of pitch for a total of just 150 seats on board. For reference, low-cost carriers, typically these days, have just 28 to 29 inches of pitch. And the likes of Wizz Air, AirAsia, EasyJet, and Vietjet all fit up to 186 seats on this same plane. Each seat has an in-flight entertainment monitor and a magazine in the back pocket. There are also power outlets available for each seat. A nice touch considering airlines often put 2 outlets for each set of 3 seats. And finally, because of that extra seat pitch, there's also space for a footrest as well. The in-flight safety video began, and we pushed back, right on time. If you're enjoying the Japan content, check out the playlist linked above and in the description below for all of my Japan flight, hotel, and train content. Also in the description, you'll always find my next 5 videos to come out. The spool up, takeoff, and some beautiful views of Haneda and Tokyo are coming up next. Entertainment-wise, it's limited, and from what I could tell was all in Japanese, but at least there was a nice moving map. As is common in economy on Japanese domestic flights, on offer were just a selection of poured beverages, and I went with a black coffee, which was served with a thoughtfully branded chocolate. While cruising, we had some beautiful views of some mountainous regions below, but that soon changed as we began our descent into a very rainy and overcast Fukuoka. A wet landing at the city center airport and the airport stats are coming up next. And so, it was a very comfortable experience, and frankly, due to the added legroom, was much more reminiscent of an ordinary seat on the Shinkansen than a low-cost carrier seat in economy. While it would be nice if they'd expanded to bring service like this to more domestic and regional city pairs, I do have to say, I respect them for focusing on their one small and steady niche, and doing it really well. So, that'll do it for today. I really do hope that you enjoyed this quick trip report. If you did, please be sure to click that like button and subscribe to the channel with notifications on so you don't miss out on any of my twice weekly videos. I'll see you next time for the final purely domestic flight in this Japan series on an ANA 787 in economy. Oh, and as always, thanks for watching until the end.